Today in our addition mathematics, I'm going to guide you on some identities that you need to know. So there are those we call as being reciprocal identities. So you need to know some of these reciprocal identities. In this case, what we are calling as being, secant, which is abbreviated as sec. So if I say sec x is equal to 1 over cos of x. Then the other one that you can talk about is cosec x is equal to 1 over sine x. The other one is simply cot of x is equal to, we can say it is simply 1 over, 1 over tan of x. But this can also be written as being, cos x divided by sine x. So this is what you need to remember. So these are simply called as being reciprocal identities. Now remember that this sec is actually secant, but we just abbreviate it as being sec. Then if you look at, this is what we call as being cosecant, but we just abbreviate it as being cosec. So that's what we get. There we just get sec. Then this one here is simply, cotangent, but we just abbreviate it as being cot. So these are simply called as being reciprocal identities. Now if you remember from our previous discussion, another identity that you can have says that sine squared x plus cos squared x is equal to 1. This is a very important identity, and from this one you are able to derive other identities that you can actually have. So let's see how you can simply go about to derive other identities from this one. So in the first instance, what we are going to do is that we can simply divide throughout by cos squared. So let's divide throughout by cos squared. So it is going to be cos squared x over cos squared x, and there divided by cos squared x. Now if you remember, in this case, what I told you, if you have got, I want to highlight that when you have an identity that looks like this, in this case tan, tan x can be equal to sine x over cos x. So that is what you also need to remember. So now in this case, because all these are having a square, it simply means that sine squared x cos squared x can actually be replaced by tan, but that tan is simply going to have a square, so it will be tan x squared. I hope we are together. Plus remember, this and that will cancel to give you 1, which is equal to, then 1 over cos. If you go to the reciprocal identity, 1 over cos gives you sec, but because this is squared, it simply means that you make the sec to be squared, so sec squared x. This is another important identity that you need to remember, and we are going to be using these identities to actually prove. Suppose again I want to derive another one. Well, we can simply use the same identity, sine squared x plus cos squared x is equal to 1, but this time we are going to divide by sine squared x throughout the equation. So let's divide, in this case, sine squared x divide by sine squared x throughout, so sine squared x. There it is going to give us a 1. Now if you notice, cos over sine, if you remember, cos over sine is actually cotangent or cot, but because this is squared, so it means the cot will be squared, so it will be cot squared x is equal to, what about 1 over sine? If you go back to your reciprocal identities, 1 over sine gives you cosec, but because this is squared, it simply means you just need to add a squared, so it is going to be, in this case, cosec squared x. So this is the third identity that you need to remember. So remember, the first one is that one there. The second one that we're having is this one that we have actually just come up with, and the third one is actually this one that we have actually come up. So these identities are very important, and we are going to be using them to actually prove identities. So I'm going to show you how to use the reciprocal identities as well as these identities that we have actually come up with to prove. So watch out for another video, then we are going to look at this discussion.